Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God, back with you with the next video in my series reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Without further ado, returning to Oliver Twist as read by Lord Naren White. Bill Sikes merely pointed to the empty measure. The Jew, perfectly understanding the hint, retired to fill it, previously exchanging a remarkable look with Fagin, who raised his eyes for an instant, as if in expectation of it, and shook his head in reply, so slightly that the action would have been almost imperceptible to an observant third person. It was lost upon Sikes, who was stooping at the moment to tie the boot lace which the dog had torn. Possibly, if he had observed the brief interchange of signals, he might have thought that it boded no good to him. "Is anybody here, Barney?" inquired Fagin, speaking, now that Sikes went looking on, without raising his eyes from the ground. "Dot a shoal," replied Barney, whose words, whether they came from the heart or not, made their way through the nose. "Nobody?" inquired Fagin, in a tone of surprise, which perhaps might mean that Barney was at liberty to tell the truth. "Nobody but Bish Dadsy," replied Barney. "Nancy!" exclaimed Sikes. "Where? Strike me blind, if I don't honor that 'ere girl for her native talents." "She's bid have it a plate of boiled beef at the bar," replied Barney. "Send her here," said Sikes, pouring out a glass of liquor. "Send her here." Barney looked timidly at Fagin, as if for permission, the Jew remaining silent and not lifting his eyes from the ground. He retired, and presently returned, ushering in Nancy, who was decorated with the bonnet, apron, basket, and street door key, complete. "You are on the scent, are you, Nancy?" inquired Sikes, professing the glass. "Yes, I am, Bill," replied the young lady, disposing of its contents. "And tired enough of it, I am too. The young brat's been ill and confined to the crib, and—" "Ah, Nancy dear," said Fagin, looking up. Now, whether peculiar contraction of the Jew's red eyebrows and a half-closing of his deeply set eyes warned Miss Nancy that she was disposed to be too communicative, is not a matter of much importance. The fact is all we need care for her here. And the fact is that she suddenly checked herself with several gracious smiles upon Mr. Sikes, turned the conversation of other matters to other matters. In about 10 minutes' time, Mr. Fagin was seized with a fit of coughing, upon which Nancy pulled her shawl over her shoulders and declared it was time to go. Mr. Sikes, finding that he was walking a short part of her way himself, expressed his intention of accompanying her. They went away together, followed at a little distance by the dog, who slunk out of a backyard as soon as his master was out of sight. The Jew thrust his head out of the room door when Sikes had left it, looked after him as we walked up the dark passage, shook his clenched fist, muttered a deep curse, and then, with a horrible grin, reseated himself at the table, where he was soon deeply absorbed in the interesting pages of the hue and cry. Meanwhile, Oliver Twist, little dreaming that he was within so very short a distance of the merry old gentleman, was on his way to the bookstall. When he got into Clerkenwell, he accidentally turned down a by-street, which was not exactly in his way, but not discovering his mistake until he had got halfway down it, and knowing it must lead on in the right direction, he did not think it worthwhile to turn back, and so marched on as quickly as he could, with the books under his arm. He was walking along, thinking how happy and contented he ought to feel, and how much he would give for only one look at poor little Dick, who, starved and beaten, might be weeping bitterly at that very moment, when he was startled by a young woman screaming out very loud, "Oh, my dear brother!" And he had hardly looked up to see what the matter was, when he was stopped by having a pair of arms tight round his neck. "Don't!" cried Oliver, struggling. "Let go of me. Who is it? What are you stopping me for?" The only reply to this was a great number of loud lamentations from the young woman who had embraced him, and who had a little basket and a street door key in her hand. "Oh, my gracious," said the young woman, "I have found him. Oh, Oliver, Oliver, oh, you naughty boy, to make me suffer such distress on your account. Come home, dear, come. Oh, I've found him. Thank goodness gracious heavens, I've found him." With these incoherent exclamations, the young woman burst into another fit of crying, and got so dreadfully hysterical that a couple of women who came up at the moment asked a butcher's boy with a shiny head of hair anointed with suet, who was also looking on, whether he didn't think he had better run for the doctor, to which the butcher's boy, who appeared of a lounging, not to say indolent disposition, replied that he thought not. "Oh, no, no, never mind," said the young woman, grasping Oliver's hand. "I'm better now. Come home directly, you cruel boy, come." "Oh, ma'am," replied the young woman, "he ran away near a month ago, from his parents, who are hard-working and respectable people. He went and joined a set of thieves and bad characters, and almost broke his mother's heart." "Young wretch," said one woman. "Go home, do, you little brute," said the other. "I am not," replied Oliver, greatly alarmed. "I don't know her. I haven't any sister, or father and mother either. I'm an orphan. I live at Pentonville." "Only hear him. How he braves it out," cried the young woman. Why, it's Nancy!" exclaimed Oliver, who now saw her face for the first time, and started back in irrepressible astonishment. "You see, he knows me," cried Nancy, appealing to the bystanders. "He can't help himself. Make him come home. There's good people, or he'll kill his dear mother and father and break my heart." "What the devil's this?" said a man, bursting out of a beer shop, with a white dog at his heels. "Young Oliver, come home to your poor mother. You young dog, come home directly." "I don't belong to them. I don't know them." "Help, help!" "I don't belong to them. I don't know them. Help, help!" cried Oliver, struggling in the man's powerful grasp. "Help?" repeated the man. "Yes, I'll help you, you young rascal. What books are these? You've been a-stealing 'em, have you? Give 'em here." With these words, the man tore the volumes from his grasp and struck him on the head. "That's right!" cried a looker-on from a garret window. "That's the only way of bringing him to his senses." "To be sure," cried a sleepy-faced carpenter, casting an approving look at the garret window. "It'll do him good," said the two women. "And we'll go ahead and stop there for this week. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.